This is Josh Wood's Genesis Podcast. My hope is that this will help you connect in new ways with the God of the Bible, as it helps me study, process, and think out loud. Thanks so much for listening. Let's go. The Book of Genesis, an Introduction. Years ago, when we embarked on our home church journey, I took a deep dive into all things church history, denominationalism, traditions, worship styles, structure, theology, etc. Ultimately, I found that many, if not most, American churchgoers are quite passionate about a right way to do things, which is sort of odd given that almost none of our churches look or feel the way the early church in the New Testament felt, or looked. That's probably a whole can of worms for another day. If you're interested in the story of why we began and subsequently ended our home church journey, you can read that story over on my Substack. Just search Our Home Church Journey, joshwoodtx.substack.com. For now, let's talk about preaching. There are several different theories on preaching. One school of thought is that the preacher should preach through the Bible in a fairly regimented way, verse by verse and chapter by chapter, refusing to deviate from that course for current events or special occasions. Example: if you're a preacher who happens to be preaching through the book of Leviticus and Easter Sunday or some major world event like a war or something happens to fall on a day when you're supposed to preach Leviticus 13, you stay the course and preach Leviticus 13. You trust that God has the right verse and chapter prepared for whatever may come and whomever may be listening. Of course, one of the downsides to this school of thought is this. You're risking that visitors or congregation members who only come a couple times per year may miss out on the Easter story, Christmas story, or what Christianity has to say about insert major world event here and how to deal with it types of messages. Another school of thought is that the preacher should preach to current events and cultural issues each and every week. Scriptures and passages should be searched out that speak to these things. In other words, preachers should do their best to inject Christ into whatever the prevailing issues of the day are and give biblical guidance for walking through this broken world. The risk with this approach is that it can be easy to avoid difficult passages in the Bible and the difficult questions of the faith. A preacher can preach for 30 years without ever addressing difficult verses, chapters, or even entire books of the Bible. When we started our home church, I intentionally tried to take on more of a facilitator role than a preacher role, but I knew I wanted to move forward with intentionality when walking through the Bible each week. Ultimately, I landed on more of a flexible version of the first school of thought. The main plan was to walk through the Bible together, starting in Genesis 1:1. This way we wouldn't inadvertently avoid the hard stuff and hard questions about our faith. But we'd be flexible enough to allow periodic deviations to address the big days of the faith and historic moments we as a group would more than likely live through together. So, we launched our home church with a plan to start in Genesis 1:1. In addition to a small group of friends who were well-rooted in faith in Jesus, among our first consistent visitors was the atheist son of an atheist scientist. I was immediately tempted to change course, mainly because I didn't want him to feel awkward on day one. Thankfully, I didn't change course and stuck with Genesis. Walking through Genesis 1, and the rest of the Genesis stories for that matter, with the atheist son of an atheist scientist, generated quite the discussion each week. Bottom line, I loved it so much that I decided to walk back through Genesis again here on my podcast. As we did in home church years ago, I'll be walking through the book of Genesis chapter by chapter. Call it therapy, call it accountability, call it devotional time. In any case, feel free to walk with me through Genesis this year. Feel free to challenge, ask questions, and generally dive in with me. It's a powerful book containing the genesis of, well, everything. Sin and shame and hope and redemption and sacrifice and healing. My hope is that the study of Genesis will bless you as it has me. Oh, and I almost forgot. I'll be adding a hip-hop rap AI-generated summary to the end of every post. Why? Because it's 2026 now and I can do those types of things. Enjoy.
Yo, listen up. This a Genesis flow. Home church journey, about to let you know. Yo, Listen up, this a Genesis flow. Home church journey, about to let you know. Delve deep in history, traditions, the fight. Folks swear there's one way, but it don't feel right. Early church vibes, now we far from that scene. American passion, about the right routine. Now preaching styles, got theories on deck. One crew goes straight, verse by verse, no wreck. Leviticus on Easter Sunday, stay the course, no switch. Trust God, got the word for the pain and the glitch. But downside real, visitors miss the big days. Christmas, resurrection, all world in the blaze. Other side flips, chase the news every week. Culture on fire, pull scriptures that speak. Inject Christ in chaos, God through the storm. But risk skip the hard books, faith stay lukewarm. Preach 30 years, dies the tough. Never hit them whole books untouched. Congregation myth. Back to the beginning, Genesis flow. Chapter by chapter, watch the truth unfold. From creation to questions, we diving in deep. Hard talks, real faith, no skip, no sleep. Genesis calling, answer the page. Atheist to believer, spark on the stage. Walk with me now, feel the blessing ignite. Book of the stars, let's get it right. Home church launch, I play facilitator role, but playing Bible walk from Genesis soul to soul. Flexible plan straight through, no fear the hard parts, but pause for big moments. Heal broken heart, started Gen 1-1, crew rooted in grace. Add atheist to the mix, skeptic blood in his veins. Tempted to swerve, make everyone comfy day one, but nah, stuck the script. Genesis 1, discussions floated, questions on blast. Creation debates, faith clash with the past. Loved it so much, therapy on the page. Walking through Genesis, chapter by stage. Genesis revive, dive in with me. Challenge, question. Set your spirit free from beauty of perfection to the fall of it all. Genesis is a blessing, answer the call. Start your year strong, let's rewind to the root. Book of beginnings, book of eternal truth. Back to the beginning, Genesis flow. Chapter by chapter, watch the truth unfold. From creation to questions, we diving in deep. Hard talks, real faith, no skip, no sleep. Genesis calling, answer the page. Atheist to believer, spark on the stage. Walk with me now, feel the blessing ignite. Book of the stars, let's get it right.
You've been listening to Josh Wood's Genesis podcast. Feel free to connect with me on Substack, Instagram, Facebook, X, or Threads. My username is JoshWoodTX on all of the above. Thanks for listening. See you next time.